Okay, hi. I'm gonna make a response to the Algae video, and also I'm going to uh, do something in beta Minecraft, just in the background. So, uh, LazyKH has given a presentation using an analogy that basically you should just always share what you do, and like any one of them, there's a chance that it can really affect somebody. And the goal is not necessarily stated in the presentation. So it could be, if your goal is to say, just change somebody's life, that's one possible outcome of putting your things out there. Or you could possibly make a living off of what you do, if it connects with people. But yeah, so I wanted to start this response with, yes, I have observed this in my own life. Some old projects randomly, that they reach their intended audience, even if it does not seem to me like they should have. Yeah, so it is like quality almost doesn't seem to matter nowadays, and it's kind of like an entropy element. Like, if everything was just meritocracy and the best projects were the only popularized ones, that would be a very different world than the one we live in. And I've been finding myself reflecting on my old projects lately and kind of realizing how cool they are, and regretting not finishing some of them. So, yeah, like dumb stick figure animations that I had done when I was like 12 years old. I kind of wish I had finished those. And looking back, like, so at the time I was like, okay, nothing I've ever done has really connected with people. And so I was always trying to like make what I pick on the track. Trying to make what I do more interesting. And looking back, I actually was doing something pretty cool. It was just uncertain whether it would actually find its audience. And so in that case, the best move would be to finish it and worry about sharing it later. Lately, my creative paradigm has been that if I can finish something and it be on a hard drive somewhere, it doesn't even matter if anyone sees it, so long as the art was done faithfully and is a good exploration of the craft. So, yeah, this has kind of spurred me on to finish projects. Even if it's like a small project and it takes just a day to finish, like you can't get much quality done in a day, but you can kind of explore an idea. And it also stretches to longer term projects. Now, here's a kind of extreme case where I had devoted a good portion of my life to one project, and it did not receive any recognition, and I think it's good. Or maybe it's not good. I'm kind of learning to judge myself based on feedback, but yeah, so I had made an MMO game, and whenever I shared it to people, they're like, yeah, that's cool, but like, nobody actually played it. Except for that one guy who was, like, logged on and then, like, AFK for hundreds of hours. That kind of creeped me out. I think they were maybe, like, using a macro to stay logged in or something. But yeah, that was a weird case, but largely nobody played it, and the thousands of hours, the 10 hours a day I had put in every day for 6 months, that did not really amount to anything, except for like a growth of my ability, but I could have just done that on a different project had I known something would succeed more. So anyway, this is a project that I worked very hard on, and it did not get any of its intended recognition. So that can happen. And I realized that's not really my goal. Yeah, so I did end up on the hard drive philosophy. Make art so it can be seen in 300 years by art historians instead. Thinking of a good place to turn a chunk into glass. So, yeah, I mean, so I'm fine with finishing projects, and yeah, that regret is kind of driving me forward to finish them. Another thought is, what if everyone followed that advice? Everyone planted their algae. So you can get into like AI art, nobody's doing anything interesting. AI art has killed our innovation for repeating patterns we have repeated before. That we have 8 billion humans, but we're only innovating on about, say, 1,000 ideas at a time as a society, when we could be iterating on 8 billion ideas simultaneously. So that's kind of an interesting thought. Let me boost the audio here. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Maybe it's still a bit hard to. Let me balance that out. So maybe it's a bit quiet, but yeah. Test 1, 2, 3. For some reason the mic is like really low. Maybe it's on the wrong device. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. Oh. Yeah, okay. That is way better. Okay, so where was I? If everyone did this, so there's that good effect, which is you get everybody exploring the craft. But it's not economically viable for everybody to do that. Not everybody will get recognition. Nobody will have time to look at the work, and I think we already see this in society now. How about this place? So, yeah, I mean, not many people actually really dedicate themselves to the work. A lot of people are like, I want to turn this into a living. I want to do this to eat and put food on the table. Not many people are really subservient to exploring their craft. Or they kind of want to have both, but there's always like a trade-off. So if you have 8 billion people that's the current world population, all making artwork. Nobody is making food, nobody is plowing fields, nobody is making cars or whatever we need. Uh-oh, I didn't bring a bed. Okay. So, like, for somebody to be sustained, we need, like, say in America, using money to represent value, we need, like, maybe $30,000 a year. Maybe less. It's kind of, more than that is really just luxury. Like, I want to have my own place instead of sharing and stuff like that. So 8 billion people all want to carve out that much. And how much money is that? If we were to think in US dollars, which there is probably not that much money in the world, not much US currency in the world. $30,000 just 1 year, times 8 billion. This is going to be a big number. 240. I need to count backwards to see what this number is. 100 million, 100 billion, 240 trillion. Yeah, I mean, I guess like UBI and like automating farming fields and different social structures can do that. Is the bed gone? The bed is gone. Maybe the bed is in there. Oh. I will have to make a bed out of this course. Okay, so and who really has the time? Okay, so you have communities that encourage people to create work. Say an animation community. There will often be a lot of animators who watch like the most revered animation. And they'll be like, you can do this too. True. But it just feels like the more people participate in that, the harder it is to make an impact. And so what we have on the internet now with the saturation of content, and I don't like the word content, but even like saturation of artwork. Oh. It's like shouting when 1,000 other people are shouting. Yeah, okay, so if everyone did Algae, it is valuable for chancing upon interesting explorations of the craft, if that is what somebody is doing. A lot of people are just trying to be a part of the existing industry without adding to it, which is totally cool, but that's just a thing, it seems. And so if somebody is thinking, I will pour my algae into this lake, or into this river because I want something out of it, that might just be the wrong way to think about it. Because the system just means that if everyone does that, nobody gets anything. Yeah, it's very hard to make a living as an artist, and usually it does compromise the work anyway. Very few people can actually make it work. Yeah, so it is kind of nice to have different means of making money. making money is a funny word to use here, by the way, because that's kind of... There's two ways to think about it, which is one, to take money from an already wealthy society, say by creating art, and the other is to create value, which I probably have to get these leaves before they disappear. And creating value is like, say, automating all the farming so that everybody's time is freed and everybody is fed for very cheap maintenance. Yeah. So in Lazy's case, it had worked very well for them, in fact. When they were like 10 years old, I believe they had already made something that had gotten recognition by, or had been viewed by hundreds of millions of people, or maybe 100 million people. It made me wonder, what if just each of those people gave them $1? That would be interesting. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of just an aside. It having worked so well for you, for Lazy, seems to be... One might interpret that as... Let me turn down the game audio. As a sort of survivor bias, but it's only survivor bias if you take away the message of the video that you should do this because it will work for you. But if instead the message is you should do this because it is a possibility, then there is no drawback. If you just like understand what you're getting into. Yeah, so about like hesitance to create and hesitance to put up work, I think that's kind of... It's not a thing everybody does. Some like masters of craft, like say, I just wanted to say it's not really probably a universal struggle, and that when I see people like Hayao Miyazaki, they seem like they will be creating no matter what. So we're contemplating, should I make this bad thing and put it online? But other people are just basically subservient disciples of their selected struggle. And that's kind of interesting. I would put myself probably more in the latter. I mean, the hard drive thing, like, I can make art, stuff it in a drawer, put it in a hard drive, and not have people see it, as long as I did a faithful creation of artwork. This kind of bothers me. This used to have wool here. Okay, that'll be fine. I'm going back to get more glass. It probably finished by now. Okay, so, but the thing is, I think in Lazy's presentation, like, yes, there was a successful case, but I imagine there's loads of unsuccessful cases as well. Yeah, so that presentation was kind of a... it felt like the takeaway was that it was intending to be motivational. So it does seem to be made for a particular type of person that would require motivation. That would not be, like I mentioned earlier, a disciple of their craft. Which I think is probably quite well tailored to our current society of artists and creators. I really don't see very many people following that alternative modes of thinking, alternative expressions of ambition. Yeah, so that is the Algae, and kind of my take on it. And my experiences. For me, going forward, I think I will continue. That's nice, the lava got the whole stack. Going forward, I will continue trying to finish things, but also... Oh, one other point. I think if you care about quality, even if you're trying to get something done, that care will kind of come out in the expression of your decisions. So I will continue trying to make work and make it good. There's a funny story with Isao Takahata, who is now dead. He was having a meeting with a producer who was funding his movie, and they... Right, so it was not a producer, but the funder of the movie, the investor, wanted the film to kind of be finished earlier than it was taking. And so they asked the producer for advice on how to approach this. And the producer, knowing Takahata, said to tell Takahata to please deliver the film sooner without dropping quality. Because they knew it would not get through to Takahata without that presupposition about how it should be done. It turned out that during the meeting, Takahata did not budge and said it will be finished when it will be finished. No sooner, no later. Maybe later. Yeah, so that's more caring about quality and doing that within the limitation of a human lifetime. Yeah, so maybe I chose a bit too big of a project because that's about all I have to say now. Yeah, I was going to glassify a chunk, or not really a chunk, but like a little circle. Yeah, I guess I'll go take a look at the tree and then end it there. Yeah, so I guess this is a moment for you to reflect. What are you trying to do with your craft? I mean, for me, with game development, I'm trying to see what it's worth. I'm trying to see what's interesting about this craft. With animation, I'm trying to kind of push the exploration of worlds that can be imagined. With violin, I'm just trying to see, can I with intense instruction and exercises and practice, is my brain capable of this? That's a lesson exploration of craft. more just curious if I can do the technique. Yeah. And I really don't like, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Friedrich Nietzsche. I think he's kind of an edgelord. I'm joking when I say that, but he is kind of like dramatic. But he did say something that feels kind of universal. He who has a Y can bear anyhow. Let me say that a bit slower. He who has a Y can bear almost anyhow. Know why you're doing this, and then you kind of can't burn out. There's no loss. Like, what burnout is when you don't want to do it anymore. If you're not burnt out, you may get tired, but still wonder, like, do the problem solving. How can I keep doing this? And you will not give up. Alright, I turned 2 trees to glass. It won't really look good if I turn the ground into glass, will it? Because it's just going to be see-through and you're going to see dirt. And if you want to see dirt, there's like already exposed sections of ground back there. You can see on the map where it's gray where I'm pointing a bit forward. Yeah. Thinking about mortality, limited life. Not really related to Algae, except I guess do whatever you're gonna do now, because time's running out and you're probably in the prime of your life to do that, more prime than you will be later. Alright. That's all. Thanks. Bye.